Regarding the barbarity of medieval times, and no one can deny that they were not barbaric, slavery, serfdom, torture, inquisition, crusades, it is only fair to note that in sheer numbers, medieval atrocities pale before the technological barbarism of modernity. Medieval tactics were gruesome, but their effect was limited compared to contemporary warfare. We have now all these medieval Muslims using medieval tactics that are gruesome, but look at the numbers. They maybe cut off 50, 100, 200 heads. The technology kills 1 million people. I mean, look how many people the American wars have killed in Afghanistan and Iraq. Okay, so you've got these medieval barbaric idiots chopping off a few heads, but look at how many people have been killed by all this technology. And this is the point. They're both barbaric. One's just sanitized. It's just sanitized. You know, you drop a bomb from 30,000 feet, it's a lot easier than having to chop off somebody's head. But, right? What's the result? إن لم تمت بسيف مت بغيره تنوعت الأسباب والموت واحد. If you don't die by the sword, you die by some other reason. There's a lot of ways to die, but death is one. So whether you drop a bomb from 30,000 feet or chop off the head, they're both barbaric, sorry. It's just on YouTube, it looks a hell of a lot more barbaric when you're chopping off the head than it does some guy in a cockpit that's just pushing a button. But the results of the guy in the cockpit pushing the button are far more devastating for human beings than that idiot that just chopped off somebody's head on YouTube. You know, so let's be realistic about this. In the 20th century alone, estimates of people killed through war, genocide. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So in the 20th century alone, estimates of people killed through war, genocide, and liquidation run from a low of 80 million to a high of 300 million people. 300 million people. In World War II, everybody talks about the Holocaust. Nobody talks about the Russian Holocaust. Nobody talks about because they were communists. So it wasn't this nice little propaganda piece to put out there. 20 million Russians were massacred, slaughtered by the Nazis. 20 million. Can you imagine that? And the Russians won World War II. It wasn't the Americans. All the films show the Americans winning the war. Just look at the divisions of the Nazis that were on the Eastern Front. Multiple times more than the divisions on the Western Front. If the Nazis never invaded Russia, we'd probably be speaking German right now. Seriously, the Russians won World War II. And then the myth of religious violence. Like, well, what is that? This myth of religious violence. Muslims, this is the most violent religious period in the history of Islam, probably. If you look at the historian who did the body count study, which is online, proved that the single most violent civilization in human history is the secular humanistic civilization. It's killed more people than any other civilization. The second is Christianity, just by looking at historical numbers. Out of the 7 civilizations studied, Islam was the 6th, number 6. The only less violent civilization than the Muslim civilization was the Hindu civilization. Amazing.